Yesterday I shared you document. Forgot to share you document yesterday. I shared it in the evening time. So what was the topic that we were discussing? Let's try to recollect what we were discussing yesterday in the last session. What was the topic that we were discussing about? Inheritance concept. We were discussing about inheritance in Pega. So now, see, I'm trying to choose the direct parent of a class. Okay. So there is a class that I'm expecting to make as a direct parent to some current class. First, you tell me what is the navigation to find out the place where you can define the direct parent, where you can see the direct parent, where you can define direct parent. In the everyone should be aware of, even navigations also important. What is the place where you see direct inheritance parent and all? In the class definition, where would you see? There are so many things. In the class definition, you go to class inheritance. What else you see there? In the class inheritance, parent class, directed. So you need to go to class definition, and there you have to go to the section class inheritance, and there you find something called parent class directed. That means while you are practicing all this, you should remember. So for that reason only I told you, you have to remember so many things while working on Pega. They may ask you questions like this also, so that navigations, everything, labels of each and everything you should remember. Okay, whatever that you are accessing, at least you should focus on that. And I am trying to choose a direct parent of current class. I have a class in my mind called ABC. At present, I am with the class called XYZ. I went to XYZ. In the parent class directed drop down, I wanted to choose ABC. I clicked the down arrow. I am not getting ABC class being shown up there, but I have to get it. Only when it is there in the list, I should be able to select it. Manual typing doesn't work out. Why it is not coming in the list? What is the reason? Why the class is not coming in the list? I will just unmute you guys. Hold on. Yeah, why this is not coming in the list?
Built on application is not defined there. So
the class that you are expecting to choose, the class is there in some other application. That application is not built on application for the present application classes which you are trying to access. Okay, I wanted to achieve this. What is the change that I have to make? Go to the present application definition. In the section where you have built on application, you choose the other application which you are expecting to access its classes and all. So this is what we should be doing. Okay, this is the concept of built on application and class inheritance, direct inheritance. What is the purpose to have a direct inheritance in Pega? What is the reason Pega has come up with direct inheritance concept? To access the functionalities of different application class. Different application class, you want to access its functionalities, then you need which inheritance works on direct. That different application is not every other application. Built on application. To access built on application, see, Pega rules process command application has so many functionalities. In my application, I want to access Pega rules process command application functionalities. It is possible only by means of direct inheritance. Then why do you need pattern inheritance in Pega? To access the functionalities of same application classes which comes in the pattern, naming pattern. Okay, so these things everyone should be aware of. Okay, everyone, I hope everyone is clear about these points. After inheritance, did we discuss about anything else?
No.
After inheritance, I'm gonna discuss this someone next. That's it.
Patterns, directly.
First is the one which we have discussed just now. Okay, so it is 9 o'clock. We'll start our session now. Okay, these are the 2 points which we have discussed mainly yesterday's session. And what are we going to focus on today? The concepts of abstract class, concrete class done. You understand what is inheritance, pattern and direct inheritance, and built on application concept, organization structure, fair enough, keep it aside. Let's go and look at the business related stuff going forward. Okay, our business application. See, The application that we are going to work on here, I'm going to mute from my end because there is some background noise coming. Okay, now here you go. See, the application that we are going to work on is an insurance application that you are aware of by this time because we already created framework plus implementation. And we have to work on UI, business logic, database, but we are not going to write any logic related to UI or database, business logic or any queries related to database. We will not write anything. So these three layers we have to work apart from this process, right? Process layer. See here, we are initial days we are going to focus on working with user interface. We are going to focus on working with user interface. We will work on user interface with process or flow. And going forward, we will discuss about business logic and all. Till next weekend, we'll work on only UI. After that, we'll work with database for 1 day, and then 1 day business logic. We'll combine everything and we'll proceed working on everything going forward. So till next 7 days, we are going to only look at UI related concepts with respect to integrating into flow. Process means flow, correct? So let's look at this stuff now. See, you will be given with a business requirement where you need to create user interface forms. Okay, as part of your application processing, you will have user interface forms, right? As a developer, you may be given with a business requirement, create so and so form. The form should have all these fields like this. Let me go ahead and show you. So here you go. Facebook sign up form. Okay, see, I'm talking about this in a generalized way, not related to only Pega. So if business is going to give you a requirement to create this form in general, you may have to write HTML coding, CSS, JavaScript, all this may be based on your requirement, but in Pega, no need to write all this. Okay, so but you might be creating this form. See, this form Facebook is going to use, collect the details from the customer. Okay, whoever wanted to have an account with Facebook, they can use this form and register on the Facebook. See, this form contains different fields. These are called as controls. What do you call this? This is called text input control. All these highlighted are text input controls, and these are called as drop down controls. What are you calling this? Drop down controls. These are called as radio buttons. You see, radio buttons. Okay, and this is called as button. This is called as hyperlink. Okay, link like this. Link you will be clicking. Okay, hyperlink. This is what? Button. What are these? Radio buttons. What are these? Drop down. These are text input. This is called as label control. What do you call this? Label control. Just for your information. I think you are already aware of all this stuff. Okay, here you go now. See, the data you enter here. Some data you are going to enter here. Okay, and some details you are going to enter like this, and after you enter all the data, you click on sign up. Can anyone guess and tell me what will happen on click of sign up in the background? This data will be taken from the form and will be stored into table. Will be stored into a table. Tables will be there in the database. I will show you now, just for your information. Just for your information. See here. This is the database. This is database. This database has so many tables. If you open one of the table looks like this. Table will have all the data stored into its rows, and columns will be there. Columns are attributes. What are you seeing there? Maybe you will be having a column, first name, last name, phone number, password. Each attribute value you will store into one unique column. Imagine first name column, last name column, and 100 customers register. 100 customers, 100 records will be there in this table. 100 rows. Each row will have details related to first name, last name, phone number, password, email ID, gender. All these details will be there in columns. Okay, just for your information. See, data you are entering into UI form, right? And data you are storing into some other place called database. How many layers are there now? How many layers you discussed? 2 layers. One is user interface. In user interface, you put the data which you wanted to store into database, correct? Who will take the data from UI into database? There should be someone to take it, right? Someone doesn't mean say human, like a component. UI is one component, database another component. Data supplied through UI is being taken and stored into another component called database. How this data will be transferred from UI to another place? That will be done by business logic. How many layers are there? 3 layers. UI, business logic, database. Humans can only understand user interface, can better understand UI. Anyone can understand UI. You need not to be a technical person. Looking at this form, they can easily realize, okay, I have to enter the data. But if I directly display business logic, and if I show you variables and ask you to enter the input data, if you're a technical person, you should be able to do it. But if you are a common citizen, then you cannot do it. If I directly show you table and ask you to enter the data, will you be able to do it? You cannot do it. That is also not understandable 100%. UI is easy to read and understand by the humans. Now, UI data will be supplied to the next level. What is the next level? Business logic. Business logic will take the data of UI and business logic will supply it to next level. What is the next level? Database. Understand everyone clear? Hold on a minute. So the concept whichever I have told so far, this is generic concept. This is not only related to Pega. Any web application, any full stack you take, where you have user interface, business logic and database being used, this concept is very generic. Look at here. See, user interface is HTML fields, right? HTML fields, you are entering data. How this data is going to be held into the business logic? Okay, UI layer, data is held by controls. Controls data should be there in the business logic, right? In the business logic also there should be someone to hold it, right? In the UI, controls are there to hold the data. Similar in the database, tables are there to hold the data. In between, business logic is there. In the business logic, there should be someone to hold the data, right? Data in the business logic will be held by something called variable. What is it called as? Variable. See here, the controls that you see here, each control that you see here in the UI will be linked to a variable. Okay, this control is linked to first name variable. This control is linked to last name variable. Means how many variables you have, how many controls you have in UI. I mean, like data acceptance control. Button, you don't need a variable. Button is it accepting any data? It is performing an action. That's it. Okay, these are the controls which will accept the input data. These many variables we need, these many columns we need in the backend table, right? Each variable you wanted to store into one column. Okay, so now the data you supply through UI will be flow from UI to business logic. In the business logic, there should be someone to hold. That is called variables. Variables will collect the data that is there in the UI. Variables are holding now. Variables are going to give it to database, right? In general, in order to give this data to the database, I'm sorry, where is the document? You need to prepare SQL queries in the business logic, but you don't focus much on this. Data will be stored into table, into its columns. One variable value correspond to one column value. Understand? Everyone clear? This is a generic design in any web application development. Web application or desktop application. Any application which will have UI, business logic and database, this is pretty generic. Where you have user interface, where you have business logic, where you have database layers. Data supplied through UI controls will be taken by variables. And data which is there with the variables, you have to store it into tables. Everyone clear? Why should I store the data? What is the reason? Because you wanted to identify this particular entity or whatever it is you call some person. In case of Facebook registration, next time, every time you don't ask him to register and get in. Once you register, next time you come, you log in, we will verify whether this ID and password is present already in the system or not. It is already there in the system. You already registered. We have your data with us. You register with the bank. You are a customer. Every time are you going to register? No. You have to be identified as a customer forever, right? So your data will be there with the banking system. Understand? Make sense? Now look at here. See here. So let's come to PRPC. In PRPC, while you are working with Pega also, you will be given, I have logged into existing application. Okay, so you will be given with business requirement. You need to create forms like this, and when user enters the data in the form in a transaction model, the data supplied through the form should be stored into backend tables. All this, that is the requirement given to you. In order to design user interface in Pega, you need to create something called section. What do you need to create? Section. So I'm going to explain you each rule now. Just hold up. Don't bother about navigations at all. That is not required for now. Only focus on the concept. See, if you are being given with a business requirement to create user interface, you need to create a rule called section. Just let me show you how it looks empty. Okay, this is how empty it looks like. So in the UI form, they will ask you, right? First name should be text input control, gender should be radio button, and date of birth should be drop down like this. I mean, like birth date you want to choose and all. Controls will be available in different tabs here. Different drop downs will be available, menu items. You can just play around with this. You'll have different controls. Data capture, text input. Text input, if you want, you just simply need to drag and drop inside this layout. I'll tell you what is the layout. And one more text input control I want, I'll get it like this. I want a radio button, I will get a radio button like this. Checkbox like this. If I want, I'll remove checkbox, that is not required. I want radio button. Radio button, I'll get the radio button like this. At design time, it will show 3, but you may extend it to 10 or 20 or 2 or 5, anything. And I want a drop down. I'll get a drop down. I'm sorry, drop down like this. And I want to display like a chart. Where is it? Chart. You have a chart also available as a control. You can display, but I'm removing chart. These are the controls I have added. Okay. These controls you have added. Okay. At runtime, this UI will be visible to users. Okay. Given you have done everything, users will enter information in this particular fields at runtime. The information that they enter and when they click on submit, it should be given to whom? Variables, right? Now, which variable to be given? Imagine this is first name, last name, first name, last name. This is country and this is age. Sorry, this is gender. Gender, country, first name, last name. I have 4 variables. Which control related data to be given to which variable? Look at here. If I go to the cell properties of this control, it will ask you to map the property. It will ask you to map the variable. As of now, variable, I'll tell you the other terminology later. First name is the variable I want to map. This is variable, first name. Anytime when user enters the data in this control, the data will be going to the business logic, right? Who will hold in the business logic? Variable. What is that variable holds? Name of the variable is first name. Understand? So which control data to be held by which variable? How is it being decided? At the time of designing itself, each control you are going to map it to one variable. Understand? So the terminology of variable is generic. In C language, Java, Python, variable you call it as. But in Pega, you call it as property. What do you call it in Pega? Property. Just I'm giving you the idea or information about the terminology. That's it. You call it as property. I'll come to that. Which means that before you create this UI itself, do you need to have properties ready in hand? Which one is first out of these two? Section is first or property is first? Which one you should create first? Section or property? While you are creating section, each control you need to map to property. So which one is first you have to create out of these two? Property you should be creating first. Property is created, then you create section and map to existing properties. That's what generally you have to do. Okay. So anyhow, let's go ahead here. See, section is the role which is used to design user interface in Pega. Means your HTML coding. Section is all about HTML coding, but you are not writing coding. You have a facility of writing if you want to write it. Okay. You have a facility, but not recommended at all. Auto generated. What does it mean? Everything you are doing here will get automatically generated in the background as a HTML code, auto generated HTML. So this is a simplified program. You are not writing any HTML code. You are just doing a drag and drop. HTML code will be generated in the background for the system. Understand? So like this section, whenever you create a section, you create a section whenever you wanted to design user interface. Whenever you create a section, you will get a new section created with an empty layout. What is meant by a layout in general? See, you have 1 acre land. There is 1 acre of land. You wanted to construct some buildings, okay, houses. You want to construct 10 houses in 1 acre land. That is your idea, okay. So are you going to directly construct the house anywhere, wherever you want in the land? What are you going to do now? First step, the land you are going to do what? You are going to do add layouts. You are going to draw layout, divide entire land into layouts. 5 layouts left side, 5 layouts right side. What is this layout importance? What is its importance? What is the advantage of dividing like this to have a layout? You are going to get a proper structure, proper appearance you will get. If you design it as a layout, you will get proper appearance. Left side 5, right side 5, maybe zigzag order, any layout structure you can get. Okay. The same way, whenever you create a user interface, by creating section, you will be getting by default 1 layout. Can I have more than 1 layout structure in 1 acre land? Possible or not practical? So I have divided land into 2 parts. Left side I'm having a layout structure like just like a front end, opposite to each other, each house. Second portion I am using like a zigzag. Okay, I can use it, right? Okay, the way you want, you can structure it. You can have more than 1 layout, that is up to you. See here, a layout is going to give you a facility of aligning the controls. These are the controls, right? See, these controls are aligned to have 2 columns, column 1, column 2, and number of rows. If I go to the cell properties of layout, you have layout format. Inline grid double by default. Inline grid triple I have chosen. How many columns I have got? Layout structure has got changed. The way how your user interface appears is different. Now similarly, you can go and choose something else. Go to other, and let us say inline grid quadruple. Quadruple means how many you are seeing? Maybe this is, I don't know, maybe they did not design it properly. Okay, OTB, it should have 4 actually. Okay, but triple they are getting it the way exactly, but quadruple I don't know why they are not. Okay, like this. See, you can play around with the options that are available in these properties. At the time of practicing, one time you create with double, another time another screen you create with triple, another time you choose some other options and see how the UI appearance is. Okay, as a learner. So like this, if you want to design user interface, you need to create a section. Into the section you add the controls. Each control you map to property, and you align the controls the way you want by using the layout. All the controls that you are going to add should be added inside layout. If I try to drag and drop outside layout, am I able to do it? Only inside you get it, it will allow you. Outside, read only, means you will not be able to drag. So for this you need a mouse and all, okay, to drag and drop everything. So this is what about section rule. A section is a user interface rule. It is a HTML rule related to designing UI, where you create user interface forms by drag and drop the controls into the layouts of section. 1 or more layouts can be there. Understand? So this is about section. And property, let us discuss about variable. Variable is called as property in Mega. See, generally I am telling you, in any programming language, a variable will have a name. Should it have a name or not? Like first name, last name, full name, okay, age, gender, like this. Many variables will be there. Variable will have a name, and what is the type of data that it can hold also you should decide at the time of creating itself. See, first name can hold text type of data. Last name also text type of data. What about age? Age is a value, that is integer value. Okay, currency. Currency means amount. I can say amount of money. It can be currency or it can be decimal value also, right? $10.70. Okay, means 10.70, like that maybe. Okay, so for that we need decimal also, right? For that, there is specifically in Pega, it is called as currency decimal one. Okay, and this is amount. After this, you may have something like password related. What is this? Password, when you enter, it should not show up the text content. It should show star marks. Okay, like that. You may need some type of data like this. So this is generally in other programming languages, we call it a data type. Data type means the type of value that a variable can hold, that you need to decide at the time of creating itself. Suppose I am asking your date of birth. Date of birth I wanted to capture into a variable called DOB, variable name. Date of birth should be of which data type? It should be date, integer. It should be date format. So the data type for date of birth should be date. Age can be integer. Date of birth should be date format. Okay, everyone clear? So like this, there will be certain type. This is called as variable is called as property. Data type is called as property type. In Pega, what do you call it? Property type. Every property that you create should have a name. Every property that you create should have to define with some property type, means which type of value that this can property hold at runtime. Okay, and there are few other things I will explain you. Okay, let us go to the document now. I explained about this. Now here you go. If you want to design user interface, so far with the discussion what we had, you came to know that we need to create two different types of rules. One is property, one or more properties. Another one is section. First thing is you need to identify and create all the required properties that you wanted to have for your user interface. Completed. And second thing is you need to identify and create section, add the controls into section, map each control to one specific property that you have created. Understand, everyone clear? So these are the different things which you have to do. This is only two steps I have explained so far. Let's look at it. Property is just like a variable in other programming languages. Property holds a value at runtime. Variable holds a value. That's what I told, right? So property is like a variable in other programming languages. Property is going to hold a value. Property will have a name, as I told you just now, and it will be associated with property type. There will be type, text or decimal or date or something. Okay, and also there will be a control. I'll tell you later. See, in the document which I am going to share you, this red color statement you ignore reading red color sentence for now. For now, anywhere in this document you see one red color statement, you ignore. I'll tell you later. Next, property, it can be created under data model category. When you read this statement, it is going to tell you about the navigation, how to create property. Akkada earphones use cheskondi. Excuse me, earphones. Video play చేసే వాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా ఇయర్ ఫోన్స్ యూస్ చేసుకోండి. ఇక్కడ కనపడి ఇక్కడ నుంచి మళ్ళీ వాళ్ళకి కనపడి because okay, this can be created under data model category. Property can be created under which category? Data model category. If you read this statement, you should be able to understand the navigation, how to create it. So I will show you the navigation. Look at here. You need to right click on the class and property. You want to create a property, right? Go to create option. Property can be created under which category? Data model category. The menu what you have got, when you go into create, the menu you have got, right? This particular one, this is called a landing page. This is called as rule category. What do you call this? Rule category. These are the categories. What category we are discussing about? Data model. You go into data model category, property. This is the property. It is not only property, association, data flow, data page, data transform, edit input, edit validate. All these can be created under one category. So different types of rules may come under some category based on certain things considered by Pega. So property can be created under data model category. Means to create property, the navigation is right click and then go to create. Then category is what? Data model. Get into that. From data model category, get into that rule type that you are discussing. Rule category and rule type. This is rule category menu. This is rule category menu, and the sub menu third one is called rule type menu. Understand, everyone? Okay. So property can be created under data model category. That will tell you about navigation. It is given in the screenshots. Now, property will have a name. Property will have a type. Look at here. I'll show you the property. One of the property I will open and show you. Okay, and type is there, text to type, and it will have a name, first name, ID. Control is also there. See, there are so many controls like text input, drop down, text area, or maybe URL. Like this, there are different controls available. See, what does a control tells? When you take this property into UI, you are mapping, right? How this should be visible in UI, like a text box, radio button, that will be decided by this control generally. And table type I'll tell you after some time, but before we proceed to that, see, any component that you create in Pega or any programming language, any object-oriented programming, you need to create that inside some class, inside an application. Did we discuss this or not? Anything you create, you will be creating inside some class, which will be there inside some application. Means everything that you create will come under two different contexts. One context is class. Means if I am creating a user interface, in which class you want to place this UI, in which application context you want to place this UI, also we should choose. So I'll just show you, don't bother about navigation, just simply I am doing it. See, at the time of creating, I should give the name that you are aware of, some name. This is label, display, this is the actual name, ID. Okay, now at the time of creating, it is going to ask you context. In the context, you have three parameters. We'll discuss only two. Third, I will tell you later. Okay, don't bother about it. Now, the first one you can see LIC auto insurance, LIC insurance. You know the names of these things. Already we discussed and we have done it already. What are these names? These are names of applications. This one is framework application and this one is implementation application. At the time of creating, system is going to ask you, do you want to create this particular rule that you are trying to create in which application context? Means inside which application you wanted to place it. You wanted to place it in framework application or implementation application. You have a choice. I can choose according to my business requirement. This context is not statically, you cannot say always create in framework or always create in implementation. When do you go for framework? If the functionalities are common functionalities for a number of implementations, then you go for framework. If the functionality is specific to only one implementation, then you will go for implementation. This is what I told you on day 2. Okay, so you choose accordingly. Okay, application context you have chosen. Then you need to deal with class. In which class you wanted to put it. See, this is the class. Here, if you remove everything and click on view all and click the down arrow on your keyboard, it will show all available classes. It's up to you which one you choose, but again that depends on your business requirement, which one to choose. Understand? Everyone clear? Third parameter I'll tell you later. So at the time of creating any rule, property or section or flow action or flow, anything in Pega, you need to choose in which application you want to create. That application context you have to choose, and the class also you have to choose. Everyone clear? Online resources. So I'm going to unmute now. So are you clear so far?
One
Okay.
doubt.
Yes.
So I'm going to, yes, thank you. I'm going to mute
Yes.
back. Muted. And here you go now. This is what? Property. Section. What is the purpose of a section? To create user interface. Anytime you are being given with a requirement, as part of your requirement, if you have to create UI, you need to create section. Add the controls map to properties. Section can be created under user interface category. What is the category in which you create section? So if you read that statement, section can be created under user interface category, that will tell you about navigation. That's it. Write down business requirement. We'll work on practical. Write down, everyone. So online resources, take a notepad or Word document, better Word document. You create one Word document where you should be writing the business requirement every day. And offline resources, you should be writing in your notebook. Okay. And you make sure once you finish the sessions, this document will have, this notes will have all the business requirements from beginning to ending. Okay. You will also put the heading. What are we trying to work on? That is also important, right? Everyone write down working with user interface, comma, properties. Only two, half of the requirement this is. Remaining half I will tell you. Working with user interface. In braces you write down user interface, you have written, right? In braces you write down section. What is it? Section. Working with user interface. In braces you write down section. Working with user interface, comma, properties. Everyone clear? Write down the requirement now. This is a headline. Okay, I'll create a document from my end. Did I create any document for today? No, right? Practical, I did not create anything, right? Save this. 590, 595, huh? 14. Working with user interface, that is section, comma, properties, right? This is the heading. Write down the requirement. Create a user interface form. Create only for today I'm writing, but every day I don't write. Okay, create a UI form, user interface form, to collect basic details of a customer. To collect basic details of a customer. What are the basic details? First name, last name, etc. You can go ahead and it's your wish what you wanted to proceed. Okay, you add some properties, there's nothing to worry. Okay, I'll tell you important properties later. Okay, this is the requirement given. See, anytime if you are going to practically work on the requirement, after this session is completed, I'll tell you the methodology to proceed, to choose to proceed, getting all this done. See, anytime if you are being given with the requirement, before you proceed to hands-on, do it hands-on, first you need to write the algorithm. Without writing algorithm, you don't proceed with practical at all. Practical, you will proceed just by going through the document of screenshots. That is the worst practice that you ever consider. Okay. Without having all the steps that you wanted to do in the practical in your mind, the practical hands-on, whatever you wanted to do, before you start your hands-on itself, step by step, everything should be there in your mind. Without having that in your mind, you don't do practical at all. If you follow the documentation and if you follow screenshot by screenshot and you finish practical, you get the output result. And if you feel like you are done with the practical, you will be gaining a knowledge of 0%. And also during the practice, if you are facing some issue, you will not be able to troubleshoot it. That is impossible because you don't know what you are trying to do. You are doing a copy paste work. Copy paste work will never work out. Copy paste work never going to work out. Always you have to use your own brain. Okay, that is there with equal capability to everyone. Before you wanted to construct a building, the entire construction should be there in your mind. Then only you will be able to construct. Without having that construction already built in your mind, is it possible for you to construct it? Is it possible? Yes or no? It is not possible. Same is applicable here also. Before you do hands-on of implementing a business requirement, everything should be there in your mind. What is there in your mind, you do it. Whatever that is there in your mind, before you draft, you do it as a hands-on, you draft it using a simple statements. Okay, so let's go ahead now. You don't need to write all this, only requirement you have written, done, completed. You don't need to write these things. So what is the design algorithm? Step one. Step one, what am I going to do? Create all the required properties. Where do you need to create? In the context of which one is more suitable? We have two contexts. First, I'll talk about application context. Application, I have two applications, accessibility, implementation application as well as framework. Customer form, which application you feel like it is suitable, framework or implementation? How do you say framework? Because the same customer details form I may use while collecting the details from customer for health insurance. For not only for auto, for health insurance also I have to collect customer information. Maybe for another type of insurance also I may have to collect us. It is generic in the context of which one? Framework application, comma. See, you are telling the framework application context only based on business requirement. It purely based on business requirement and your business. These two you should know, then only you will be able to answer this. Otherwise, it is not impossible for anyone. Class context also there, right? In which class I should place? More appropriate. In the framework class, you have organization class, you have framework work class, you have division class, all this. Don't bother about organization for now. You can even create an organization, but don't use it. Okay, as of now, let's be sufficient with framework work class. I wanted to make it simple for you while practicing, that's why. So first you are ready with creating properties in the context of framework application as well as framework work class. Same context you will repeatedly follow for rest of the things. Now step 2, create section, comma, add the required controls. Where you need to add? Into the layout of section. Okay, done. Added controls all. Step 3, what you should be doing now? Map each control to the above properties. Respectively, you have to. That's it, done. Only up to that. I want you to design and create a UI form. Making it in a transaction, we'll do it later. So now I am going ahead with design. See, any requirement that you are going to work on, you need to follow this methodology. Only after you are going to write the algorithm for the business requirement, then only you go for hands-on. Without writing algorithm, never go for hands-on at all. Okay, you don't know how to write algorithm, means you don't know how to implement it practically. If you're not able to write all the steps in the algorithm, which means that the business requirement is not there in your mind, how to implement. The implementation is not there in your brain. Anything that is not there in your brain, you cannot do it. Okay, simple. Okay, so coming back to this one, let us log into our application. What is our application? SBI, yeah? SBI.com. Everyone clear? Following online resources. Create only if not already exists. See, it is a practice while you are working with Pega. You should be creating anything in Pega only when it is not already provided by PRBs. But these properties are already available in Pega. First name, last name will be available. You can see these are very generic. But I'm not going to use those properties. The reason is I want you to learn how to do it from the scratch. We will use OOTB later. Okay. So App Explorer, you go. See here, this one I cannot draft it in the document. See, every time when you log into your implementation application and go to App Explorer, you will get implementation class group loaded. I want to access framework application and framework class group. By logging to implementation application, is it possible to access framework application context and framework classes? Yes or no? It is yes. Then there is no need to log into framework. I will do it from implementation always. Logging into implementation application, you have accessibility to both implementation and framework. Why do I need to go for framework again? No need. So I always log into implementation application only. Okay, even if I want to create in the context of framework application and framework classes, I will always go with implementation login. The reason I'm able to access. How do you access the framework application classes here? See here, hold on. Backspace 8. Somewhere you should see in the drop down framework related classes. You select it. Okay, maybe you have done something. You log off and you log in back. devimpl @ what is that? SBI, yeah? Okay, SBI.com password rules. Okay, every time you have to again backspace and access the framework classes, correct? Instead of doing this, if you access it for once, I cannot give it as a document. Okay, you can review the video. I want it to be always available here. I can make it as a shortcut for simple access. Next time onwards, when I log off and log in back, implementation will be loaded. Framework will be here standalone because I have just pinned it. Pinning means you are going to pin it in the shortcut. So I made it available as a shortcut. Will you be able to do it or not? Okay. Now right click on this. I will just do it now. Creating properties. Creating properties. Okay, you pin it like this and right click on the class group. Okay, you need to right click and then navigation is create data model property. There are different navigations available to create property. This is the fundamental basic thing. Just try to learn from us. Create property. You have chosen one navigation like this. Now you will get a screen like this. It is going to ask you what is the name of the property. First name, first space name. When I give first space name and tab out, you see first name without spaces is coming. This is ID. ID is the actual name. What is this? Display name. Label is, see, always you have student name and student ID. System can recognize you only by your ID. Name is a label for you. Okay. So everything you create will have a label and ID. Label is for display. At the time of displaying, if I display like first name without spaces, it won't be good. Right? So I'll display like this meaningfully. System will understand like this. A variable property name should not have spaces. For the system, it will remove. Okay, understand clear? Now, this is the first name I have given for the property name. In the context, by default, I logged into implementation application, right? So I am getting implementation application context being chosen by default. Change the context of the application to be framework. Change the application context to be AppW framework. Look at here, I am changing it. I am going to highlight this and give you the screenshot. Understand? Class context, do I need to change? No. See here, I have right clicked on framework class group. Suppose if I right click on implementation class group, suppose if I did the same navigation, class will be automatically, I'm sorry. Suppose if I right click on implementation, if I follow the class loaded will be automatically implementation class. Whatever the class on which you place your cursor and right click to create, that is automatically loaded here. You don't want it, remove it. Click on view all, click the down arrow, you change to choose something else. If you want to choose something else, you can choose, no issues. Okay, but I did not do it. I just directly right clicked on the class under which I want to create, so I got it automatically. Only application context I have changed. Remaining parameters, whatever that is defaultly available, you just proceed to create and open. Where is that create and open? Here you go, create and open. I am going to click on create and open. By default, PRPC is going to choose a property type to be text, and data access I did not focus on this. I'll tell you later. No need to bother about it. Control, there is some control chosen, text input control. See, first name, is it text property or integer or decimal? Which one? Text. Whatever the default we have got, it is okay, right? Whatever the default one which we have got, it is okay. So click on save. Let us go ahead here. Click on save. Okay, accept the defaults. Defaults. Accept the default means simply you just keep it as it is. That is the meaning. Okay, click on save. See, the moment you save it, it will get created. If it is created, you will see a delete button. As long as you don't see a delete button, it is not yet been created, for your information. Understand? You see a delete button, then only you say that it is created. So I am going to close it. Done, completed. I am going to close this tab. Once I'm done, I want to open this property which I have created again. Where can I see that? I created in this class, right? Expand this class. Data model has come. Expand data model. And property has come. Expand property. Is this the property you created? Any more properties you create will come to this place. Understand? Just for your information. Create one more property. Last name. What is the next property? Last name. What is the navigation? Again same. Create data model property, and it is similar to the one which you have done. I am not going to give the screenshot of how to create it. Already I have given once, that is fair enough. This time you see previous options what you have selected while creating property, it is automatically identified. First time it is given implementation context, I changed it. Now it is automatically giving the context to be framework application. I am okay with that. Proceed forward to create and open. Again, last name is also similar to first name. Yes or no? Text input and all, right? Save, done, completed. Next, age. I am reading age is integer, right? So I'd like to create age. See, if you're not seeing last name here, you may have to refresh this. Just once right click and refresh. It will be loaded again. Then you see first name, last name, both coming here. Coming? Okay, anyhow, leave it. After you finally you do everything, you refresh it, everything will be shown up. Create data model property. And here you go, age. The remaining options are same, create and open. Now, by default, age property is also property type as text. But I don't want text, I want integer. Look at here, just make an observation. Control is px text input, right? Now I want to change the property type from text to integer. Click on the link change. Click on the link change at property type. Link change. And here you see integer. What do you see? Integer. Select this. Select integer. See, the moment I select integer, what is happening below? If you observe, the control also got automatically updated. See here, when it was text, it was px text input. When I choose integer, it was px integer. It is px integer. Means this control at runtime will hold only integer value. It cannot accept you if you enter text, it won't accept. That is the meaning. Just for your information, just make an observation like that. Save, done, completed. So age is also done. See, I forgot to choose the property type as integer. By mistake, it is text only. Now later I realized I wanted to refresh it back and go to the respective property, whatever the property, respective property. From text, you have to change it to integer. It is not possible. Once you create a property, further in future, property type can never be modified. Suppose I want to modify, then delete, click on delete, give some reason and delete. Okay, and then you create another property with the same name. You create property choosing the correct data type this time. Okay, property type. There's no other go other than that. Next, age is done. What is the next one? Gender. Gender, I want it to be radio button with one or two or more values. Okay, so gender, see here, create and open. Text value, gender will be either male or female, prefer not to say like this. So that is a text value only. So property type text is okay, but control I want to display a different control, not a text input. So change the control to be radio button. Choose radio buttons control. How do you choose it? Let me show you. See, you don't bother about what is px, I'll tell you later. This text to px, what is it? I'll tell you later. You need to backspace it up to here and then click the down arrow. There are so many controls available. Which control I wanted to choose? Radio button. You just type R on your keyboard. Just press R. It will go to highlight anything that is starting with R after px, so that it will be easy for you to access. Fortunately, the radio button is the first one in the R, so I'm getting radio button. So I'll choose radio button like this. Understand, everyone? Clear? So all the controls will be available there in the drop down. So radio button you have chosen. But how many radio buttons should be there? What are the labels of the radio buttons? That is also you need to tell the process commander. For that reason, choose table type local list. I'll tell you other options later. Choose table type local list. And once you choose local list, you will be getting like this. Table type local list. And here you go. This is what you are going to get. Enter the values of the radio buttons. Like this, you need to enter. Male, one radio button you will get. If you save up to here, at runtime you'll see only one radio button. So I click on plus icon to add one more row. What is the other one? Female. Add one more row. Let's say prefer not to say, like this I have given. And then save it. How many radio buttons you will get at runtime? 3 radio. If I give 10 values here, 10 radio buttons. How many radio buttons you want? Those many labels you have to provide. Based on these labels, runtime it will be having those many radio buttons. Gender after, I want to go with country. Country, which is a drop down. Country, I want it to be a drop down. Let us go ahead here. Right click on this, create data model, property, country. Some countries I wanted to give in the list of the drop down. For that also I am going to use local list. Okay, here you go. Text type only. Country may be India, America, UK. Text value only. But control is different. I'm sorry. Control is different. Change the control to be drop down. Choose drop down control. How do you choose it? Remove up to here before PX and go ahead here D R drop down. Make sense? You need to choose it from the available drop down. Okay. Table type local list. What is the table type? Because I am hard coding the values. In future business requirements, we will see how to have the values being populated from table into drop down at runtime dynamically. That is future requirement. First country, first I am using select. Okay, means it is asking you to choose some option out of all this. Add one more, India, USA, UK. Like this, you add a number of countries. I'm not adding so many as of now. Save done. Countries are done. So states. Next, create another drop down. State also drop down. Okay, everyone clear? So create now. Create. What is this? State. This is, I want this one as well, drop down. Huh? We'll see later. Okay, and here you go, table type. Okay, here also I'm giving select. Okay, some states you can add. It's up to you what states you wanted to add. That is up to you, your choice. Property you cannot run. In the UI you can run it. Okay, once you add it into UI, you should be able to execute it. I'll show you. What are the other states? New York, New Jersey, Texas. Like this, I have added few states. Few states related to America, few states related to this one, India. Completed. Next, city. Okay, cities also I am going to create it as a drop down. Okay, city. In future we will modify all of these things. Okay. Local list. Okay, table values. Again, I am going to give something similar. Okay, I know that some cities, whatever the city names that I know, I am just writing those cities here. Maybe I can write full one. Okay, and here you go. Okay, like this, you can write. I think New York is also a state plus city. Yeah? City name is also same, right? Okay, like this, I have added some cities just to populate. Okay, save, done, completed. So finally, I wanted to go ahead with zip code. See, zip code usually people think like it is a integer property, but actually zip code cannot be integer. The reason being, a zip code in some countries may have text values also, but in one country, if you consider only one country, the range of zip code value may exceed beyond the integer. That's why we always go with zip code as text only. Save, done, that's it. Okay, next, properties creation is completed. So next, what do we need to do? Create section. Let me create a section. Let me close all these tabs and all. I'll close everything. I'll show you here what are the properties created. If I refresh here once, right click and double click. Sorry. So these are the properties which I have created. Next, create what? section. So here you go, right click on this, create user interface category section. UI category, it is not been shown up, it is disturbing. Create bottom. Let me take the screenshot. How do you know that? Just hold on. Create user interface section. Okay, you'll be able to remember or what? Because there is some address bar coming at the bottom that is hiding the user interface option. User interface category. Okay, category is what? UI category. Okay, this is how you will create a section. Okay, now section name, customer details, SEC. SEC is the naming convention that I am following. It is not mandatory to have at the end SEC and all. See, whenever you are going to work on any business application, the rule names, they may follow some naming convention. If you join a project, open 2 or 3 rules and look at the name of the rules based on its functionality, you will be able to understand what is the naming convention that other developers are following in the existing project. You need to follow the same. Okay, so when you create a section, you will get a template view. This is called template view, template like appearance. I want a full editor. Okay, so click on the link, convert to full section editor. There is one link called convert to full section editor. Here is the link. Everyone clear? Click on this, say submit. After you click on that, say submit. This is a full editing options. Template is just a high level editing options. All the full options you will get only in this format. Everyone clear? So you got a layout, right? So what should I do? Next step, we have already written the steps. I'll take 5 more minutes, just hold on. Chapandi, what is the next step to be done? We need to add all the controls. Before that itself, just double click on layout. That is, it opens properties panel. It opens properties panel where we can choose. We can choose layout structure, comma, header to the layout. I'll show you what is the header. Okay. So where is the layout? This is the layout, right? Double click on it. And this pop-up, this is called properties panel. I already shown you, right, some time back. I want to go with inline grid double. So what I wanted to go with? Inline grid double. Choose inline grid double. And after that, select the option display header and title. Display header and title. I am going to go with display header and title option. Select this. What is the title that I have to give? Enter some title. Anything, it's of your wish. This layout is going to tell you, please enter below basic information about yourself. Okay, you can type anything which is going to make sense and it is meaningful. So here you go. Let me remove that and this screenshot. So this is how your layout is going to show some meaningful information to the people, whoever is accessing the UI. Okay, this is called layout header. And the layout structure, what I have given, inline grid double. Inline grid double means how many columns will be there? 2 columns and number of rows. Now drag and drop the controls into the layout. So you can just these are few tabs available here, few menus. You can find out the controls easily by accessing. Data capture text input control is there. So I will drag and drop text input control. Text input control, you pick it and drag, and at the time when it is highlighted in saffron color, then only you should be releasing it. One more control I want to add, right? First name after last name. One more time, text input. So this time I'll give screenshot directly after adding. Okay. So one more control I will add. First name, last name, gender. Gender is radio button, right? In the picker menu, you will find radio button. Okay, you will be adding gender and drag and drop gender. Okay, gender is there. Gender after age. Age is text input integer. Here you have integer. Control is there, integer control, and add integer control here. After this, country drop down, action or not action, picker drop down. So you add country at the below here. Drop down, add it here once it is highlighted. So state and city also same, right? State and city also drop downs only, right? You don't need to drag and drop once again. Just right click on this, copy this, right click on this, paste. Right click on this, paste. How many controls I have got? You will be able to add or not? I don't need to give the screenshot of this, right click, copy, paste. Finally, zip code. Zip code is also text input, right? So already I have a text input control here. Right click, copy, and right click here, paste, it will add here. Understand? Everyone clear? So these are the controls which I have added. Now map each control to the respective property. Okay. So double click on each control. It opens properties panel. I'll show you how am I going to do. See here. This is the control, right? Double click on this. Either you can double click or you may select this and click on this gear icon is there, right? View properties panel. This one, both are same. Understand? Everyone clear? So first one, what is the property that I need to choose? So here you need to click the down arrow. So you should click the down arrow. You should not manually type. When you click the down arrow, it should show all the properties that are available in the present class, current class. Which property I want to choose? First name. Look at here. Whenever I choose first name property, click the down arrow and choose first name property, automatically a dot will be added before. See, any property you want to access anywhere in PRBC, not only section, anywhere in PRBC, whenever you wanted to access a property, you need to access always a property by dot. Giving a dot, it will show properties. Remember this, we will be using this, very, very important. Going forward, many times we'll be using. Submit. Repeat the same for all other controls. Accordingly, you need to map. Second one, what is the second one? Last name, right? I'm not going to give the screenshot, double click and all. Okay. Last name after this one, gender. See, you see three values you will be getting for the gender. Suppose, for example, I'm showing you. It is vertically aligned, right? Male, female, prefer not to say. You want horizontal, for example. You can go to presentation. Here you see vertical, horizontal. Means for any control, if you go to presentation, you'll have so many options. You can play around with those options just to identify different appearance or maybe anything like that. Okay, gender after age. What is the next one? Country. State. City. What is the last one? Zip code. So I have mapped each control to the respective property. You will be able to do it or not? Save. Done, completed. Section is ready. Okay, I can directly run the section also. See, suppose if I am going to, just for your information, if I'm going to run the section here, I got all this data. I mean, like all these controls like first name, last name, country, state, and all. I wanted to perform an action. I want to submit this form. After I enter, I want to submit. So what should I do now? Additionally, you have to add a button here. On click of button, what should happen? This data to be stored into table. If you're working on Java, .NET and all this you have to do manually. Adding button, on click of button event, add an action of getting the URL of the next screen and take this data into variables and prepare the queries and store the queries data into tables. You have to manually implement the logic for like this if you're working with .NET, Java and all. But in Pega, it is automated. You don't need to add any button, that will come automatically. How it will come automatically, how it will get stored automatically, all this we will be discussing tomorrow. Understand? Everyone clear today? Every one of you. I'll tell you about tables. I'll show you on tables and all after some time. Tomorrow probably I'll show you table. Okay. Unmute all. What is the question? You don't need to add any button. You don't need to talk about the next screen URL. You don't need to talk about the queries, and you don't need to say the PRPC what table to show. It will automatically do everything. I'll tell you further rules tomorrow. And the theory document which I am going to share you, it will have the details about property section. Below that, flow action flow also will be there. You just leave it. That is what I am going to tell you tomorrow. Understand? What is the question? Someone has posted a message. I have created one property and created some data. After that, I found the data type is wrong, and now I wanted to delete and create property name same. Possible to read edit data already exists with that name. See, property type you can never modify, not only in Pega, in any technology. No technology allows you to change the property type at the definition. There is a separate concept called typecasting. At runtime you can change it. Maybe you have read it in C language. Okay, so that should be followed even by any tool. Any tool that you are building, you might be building with some technology only, right? The tool should follow the technology related guidelines. That's why property type is read only. If you want to change it, delete and create again with the same name. This property might have been used in different places, right? Always all the places it will reflect automatically. Typecasting is possible in Pega as well. Okay, but that is not allowed to write the coding. So they made it read only. If you are deleting it, you create again with the same name with a different property type. You should have a clear idea about your business data. I'll tell you an example. You created a date of birth property text. Okay, for some days it is okay. You entered date of birth as text 0310 something like this, 1955 like this. Okay, you created so many transactions are done. Your business has realized it should not be text, it should be date. In some places they are facing issue. Now what would you be doing? You have to make sure that you have to change the property type from text to date. Okay, now you delete the property and change it to date. Now in this case, already there are transactions running, maybe in progress are already completed, right? What about this data? Maybe reflection will happen everywhere. Wherever you use the property, it will be reflected, no issues. But already transaction data, what will happen? See, for every technology, there is a support of typecasting automatically. A text property supports any other data type automatically to be assigned. It will support, no issue. You take a text property, you assign integer value, it will take. You take integer property, you assign text value, it won't take. This is where you need typecasting. So you should be pretty much careful at the time of creating properties itself. And as a developer, you never need to bother about this. Business will clearly tell you what is the type, what should be the name, all this, but they don't tell you where to create, in which application, which class. They don't know all that. They know name of the property, type of the value that it should hold as per the business, how it should appear and all, they will tell you. So in case if you want to change the property type, delete it and do it. There is a mechanism of typecasting also available in Pega that is not required for you, and even you don't follow that. Okay, and will we get any error message if we try to create a duplicate property? This is a research question, right? You try to create a duplicate property and see are you going to get it or not, and send me a screenshot. So when I try to log into my implementation application, it is showing like error message. What is the error message? See, if you face any issue, I'll tell you. Just I'll take 2 more minutes. At the time while you are practicing this particular requirement, any issue you are getting, like property you are creating, okay, section you are creating, you are trying to drag and drop, something is not working out, you should never come back to me. Okay, where you should go? You should go to two places. One is video and the second one is document. If you're not able to troubleshoot, it means you did not get the knowledge. Okay, you do not have a focus of watching the video, you do not have a focus of following the document. That's it. Here and there some cases will be there like this. You send me the screenshot for that. In the group you can share, someone else will help you, even I can also guide you accordingly. But before you send the screenshot of any error or something, you should have already done some research to troubleshoot it. Okay, my intention is, it is you, always you have to help yourself. If yourself is not ready to help you, who will else will be ready to help you? Anyone else is going to help you? No, right? You spend half an hour or 1 hour, or after some time also you leave it and come back later point in time and you try it again. This is the approach to be followed. And I know many of you, your intention is always to finish the practical, close the laptop, throw it away and enjoy outside. I don't know what you people will be doing, including me. What would you be doing when you get some free time? You will open that WhatsApp nonsense and all, right? Other than that, we do not do anything else. Okay, many people like me are talking about. Maybe you are good in a good streamlined process and on a good track, that is okay. Okay, you spend enough time, even you don't have free time, you create it. That's what you have to always think about. It is not that you want to finish and wind up everything and throw it away and you wanted to roam outside, I wanted to go to movie. That is not such an urgency in your for your career and all. Okay, so spend enough time. It may be half an hour, 1 hour, or 3 hours or 5 hours, no problem. You fix the issue by yourself that you are facing in your own design. You're not trying to fix others' issue. Design is been done by you. You should be able to know how to reverse engineer it, right? If you're not spending proper time, if you're not able to understand where is the mistake in what you have designed, means it is not by your own knowledge. You did it by just copy paste. That copy paste work never works out. Okay, I'm repeating again many times. Okay, so I am also getting the error while login to implementation application. There has been issue. Please consult administrator. Create one more application and try to log in. Still issue persist, contact us. Okay, with a screenshot. And shall I delete Kafka data folder and restart the server? I told you a workaround. Anytime if you are trying to bring up the server, if server is not coming up, then you delete Kafka data folder and do it. Any other questions anyone else has? Offline or online? Any other questions?
So is there any way to clone the property?
This practical will not take more than 5 minutes. But my expectation is not that you are going to do it by screenshot by screenshot. Expectation is you gain the knowledge of entire practice in your mind, sit back and take a notebook, write down the algorithm by yourself on a Word document or notebook, read this algorithm also, don't try to remember by hearting, try to understand, write your own way the algorithm, then you have the hands-on of same without opening the document. You can look at the document screenshots. Beginning to ending, you go through the document. Means you are doing the practical within your mind. Finished everything, just try to recollect what you have done, why you have done. Sit back and write down the algorithm, maybe on Word document or notebook. It is up to you, whichever you are convenient with. Now you are clear about the steps, right? You do it without looking in the document. Anywhere in between you face the issue, look at the document screenshots or maybe video recording. Anything is okay. But you never do it by opening the document from beginning to ending. You never follow the document screenshots for practice. To simply saying, okay. What is the question that someone was trying to ask?
Yeah, like is there any way to clone the property instead of
You
deleting?
copy the property. See, you wanted to create a folder. You can copy paste it if you want to similarly create, right? You can clone a
No, like
property, copy the property and create one more.
I need to change the property values after cloning.
See, it is not about value. It is about the details of the property. See, whenever you copy a property to create one more, everything you can modify except property type. I told you, right? While cloning also, previous one you will get automatically all the details. Every other details you can change except type of the property. Usually you don't clone it if you want a different property type. You want same property type. First name I created. I want to create last name. Easy to clone. Because first name, whatever the property type is there, same I want, I'll clone it. Age I am trying to create. If I clone first name to create age, does it work out? Doesn't work out. I'll tell you how to save as a property or any rule later. Next. అలా ఏమి ఉండవు ఇక్కడ. ఏ లెవెల్లో క్రియేట్ చేస్తారన్నమాట అది గ్లోబల్ లోకల్ అంతే. నెక్స్ట్. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll continue tomorrow to discuss about remaining 2 rules to make it as a transaction, full-fledged transaction. After that is done, that practically just 1 minute, and explanation will take some time. And after that is done, I will show you where the data is getting stored. Okay.
I have one question, sir.
Yes, please. Hey, other
instead
people, if you don't have anything to ask, you can leave. There's no need to wait for everyone else. What is the question?
Yeah, country property, like we are entering all the countries, right? Instead of entering all the countries, is there any way to like upload all the countries in single shot somewhere, like in
We will
Notepad
see,
we
man.
have saved?
There is no hurry. We will not do everything in single day. We will do one by one slowly. And also online and offline, whoever is pending with fees payments, you complete it today, and from tomorrow onwards, not allowed. Okay, strictly not allowed.